What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. So, as I brought up in the last video, I was talking about Vice President Harris and her concession speech and how classy she was, as opposed to Trump, who was just a shady politician. I was like, well, speaking of shady politicians, because I made a video a couple weeks ago about Eric Adams as well. But now we have the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, who has been indicted on bribery charges. And the way that he was essentially set up, um, some people are saying that it was entrapment. You know, um, the whole situation is wild. It definitely reminds me of what we can look forward to in during Trump's second term. I feel like we're going to get a lot more of this in regards to um, the FBI being involved and them coming after mayors and politicians who are not as insulated as Donald Trump is. But we're going to hear from the mayor in this really quick video that he did. It's only about a minute long, and I'll give my commentary and I'll read the article afterwards.
Indicted me on bribery.
Here we go.
Jackson residents, it is with great disappointment that I come before you. My legal team has informed me that federal prosecutors have, in fact, indicted me on bribery and related charges. To be clear, I have never accepted a bribe of any type. As mayor, I have always acted in the best interest of the citizens of Jackson. We believe this to be a political prosecution against me, primarily designed to destroy my credibility and reputation within the community. There is no coincidence in its timing being just before the upcoming mayoral race. My legal team will vigorously defend me against these charges. Again, while I am disappointed, I am not deterred. So I ask for your patience and your prayers during this process. Thank you.
Someone once said that there has been this upswing or this uptick of far right, this far right movement across the globe. I had a friend of mine in New Zealand, actually, and she was telling me that their government there is now controlled by the far right ideology because they're or head of state. I don't know if it's a governor, but whoever their head of state is, because it was a woman before she decided to step down, and it's sweeping the globe. But going back to the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, I'm going to read you guys this article because the way that he was found or has been indicted, but the way that that he was essentially, I don't even want to say set up, but just the indictment, the process, especially regarding the federal agents, the story is it's interesting. I'll say that. So this article from ClarionLedger.com talks about how they were set up by federal FBI agents, right? So Lee, who was on the board of Jackson City Council, she resigned from her position after accepting nearly $20,000 in cash from these two quote unquote out of town real estate agents. Y'all, the real estate agents were really FBI agents. And the real estate agents were gifting are targeting, allegedly, but going after all these people in Jackson, Mississippi on these boards. Um, it's ridiculous. It's not just the mayor; it's also the council people. Um, yeah, that is, like I said, some people were, questioning whether or not this was entrapment. But Lee accepted the bribes in exchange for her support of a fictitious downtown development project. And so she got a conspiracy charge. So, how does that link with the mayor? So, these FBI agents that were posing as real estate developers were giving them, all these like huge cash gifts, like $50,000 at a fundraiser. And then the mayor allegedly accepted the $50,000 bribe from the agents in the form of five $10,000 campaign donation checks. Okay. Um, and then the final number that he was given was $100,000. So they wanted to make sure that it wasn't, just small potatoes, but that these were huge amounts so that they could end up as felonies, not just misdemeanors. And they even, try to do background checks on these real estate agents, and they asked them essentially, "Are you affiliated with the FBI or whatever?" And so the FBI, who were posing as real estate agents, tells these people, "No, we're not, law enforcement. Just this is, I mean, you couldn't write this." But, they had a meeting April 2nd, 2024. They had a meeting in a private room on a yacht. And they, the mayor and his associates met with these FBI agents who were undercover. They were posing as real estate agents. But essentially, they were caught up in all of these I don't know, I guess these finance charges, right? These finance, yeah, they were handed another five $10,000 checks in an envelope. And at some point, you can't get something for nothing. Because I'm like, at some point, you have to ask yourself, why does this person continuously giving me all this money? And the checks were from this group, I guess, of the FBI agents were posing, they were supposed to be real estate developers. And they said that they were deposited April 4th into his account. They said prior to that, the mayor had his balance in his account was $465.30 before depositing all these campaign donations. Okay. The fact that they knew that, I mean, the feds are so they are so thorough. So the mayor says, to be clear, I've not accepted a bribe of any type. He says this political prosecution. If you guys know anything about the governor, Tate Reeves, he is very far right, right wing, good old boy, that type. He's the one who, I believe, let Brett Favre off the hook, whatever his name is, the quarterback who stole all that money from, the funds that were put aside for the citizens of Mississippi. And he stole them from welfare recipients to build his daughter's volleyball stadium, I believe. He's a multimillionaire, but instead of, he could have easily, built the stadium, wrote it as a tax write-off, legally, right? But no, instead he wants to steal from the poorest of the poor, because Mississippi, I think, is the poorest state in our country. Despicable. But Tate Reeves, he's the governor. He's letting Brett roam free, and he hasn't been prosecuted for that yet, and he's going after the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, allegedly. Well, I shouldn't say the governor, but I mean the federal agents, the FBI, are posing, and then they are giving this mayor all these multiple $10,000 checks to, get him caught up in this scandal. It says Owens accepted at least $115,000 in cash and promises of future financial benefits from the two quote unquote developers who are really FBI agents from Nashville. And he says, that they did not know, they weren't aware, but in reality, the developers were working for the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Oh, wow. So in the course of the months, the Jackson bribery scandal has unfolded. So Owens is facing 8 felony counts. Banks is facing 2 felony counts, 1 for conspiracy, 3 for federal counts of bribery. And then our mayor here is facing 5 counts of bribery. So if somebody approaches you with envelopes, checks that just appear out of nowhere, that old saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. There's no such thing as a free lunch, all of that good stuff, especially in the times that we're living in now. Just be careful, be cautious, right? They're still rounding up people from those PPP loans. I feel like the only people who had their loans forgiven were, people in Congress or people who were already really well off financially. So anyway, you guys just stay vigilant, stay prayed up, continue to do the work, and let me know your thoughts on the mayor of Jackson, Mississippi being indicted on these bribery charges by these undercover FBI agents. This story is wild. I'll link it. So if you guys want to read it thoroughly, in its entirety. I just skimmed over it, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and I will talk with you in the next one. Take care, Aces. Bye.